The Stone Spitter Championship is Rugby League's first prize. Last season, Wigan held the winning ticket. This season, they've been losing as often as they've been winning, losing their touch, losing their grip. But absenteeism was high in the early weeks of the season, and Wigan's missing stars are now finding their fitness again. The team is finding its feet again, finding its title rhythm, finding its way back up the championship table. 10 years ago, Peter Fox was coaching Bradford Northern to championship glory. Now he's looking to turn back the clock with a Featherstone team for the future. A young team capable of taking on the very best. A year ago, Wigan and Featherstone produced a 54-point spectacular for the Rugby League Live cameras. They're at it again today. Wigan versus Featherstone Rovers. They're back on Rugby League Live.
Seven games into their title defence, the champions Wigan are behind on points. The punch of last season's been missing so far, but Featherstone today look to be made to measure. They've not won here in 25 years, but they should take heart from the Test series. Remember, the experts said that Great Britain and Australia would be a mismatch too.
Last Saturday was Australia Day at Old Trafford, the day the world champions stopped their world from falling apart. They were down, but we couldn't quite push them under. The Kangaroos had the last word, or two.
We're well into injury time. Stewart throws the dummy. Now Ricky Stewart's on his own. He's up to the halfway. He's waiting for Eddie Housen. He's got support. Eddie Housen with him. Back it goes to Benega. Housen again tries. He gets gold. Oh, what a try. What a try. What a run from Stewart. And what a try. Benega.
In the last minute of the second test, for the first time, the Australians had something to shout about. We may not have heard the last of them yet. They will be hearing more of the Lions roar, though. You can be sure of that. Meanwhile, in the skies above St Helens, is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's Mike McLennan's head ahead. You've all seen the kick ahead. Now watch the big Saints number 8, John Harrison, demonstrate the head ahead. Try given. A ball thrown back and headed forward, has not been knocked on. Coaches these days fill their players' heads with so many ideas. Isn't it nice to see a player use his own head for a change? Meanwhile, Bradford Northern are heading in the right direction too, up to third place in the table. Paul Medley is in roaring form. His athleticism won a roaring match at Oldham last Sunday. He scored in his last 3 games. Bradford have won their last 4. Warrington have lost their last 5. 3 of them at Wilderspool, where Wakefield Trinity triumphed last weekend. Few players have given more unselfishly to the Wigan cause in recent years than Gerard Byrne. Warrington gave him the chance to score his 3rd try in 4 games for his new club Trinity. Mark Conway's kicking did the rest. Gerard needed a rest after that. After 3 heartening wins, Featherstone have suffered 2 heartbreaking defeats. Nothing hurts more than a beating in a local derby, except maybe a try by an old local hero. Last Sunday, it was Graham Steadman who pointed the way to a Castleford victory.
Graham Steadman is going to get the first score against his old club.
Wigan are back in the old routine. On Tuesday, they scored 30 first-half points at Hull Kingston Rovers. The champions back in tune. Andy Gregory waving the conductor's baton. The others following his lead in perfect harmony. Encore today. Wigan up to 5th in the table. 2 defeats in 7 league matches. Only Hull have suffered fewer. But the following night, Hull suffered the same fate as Wigan. A mauling from the Aussies. The Walters twins wrapping up an unbeaten stint for the tourist midweek team. They've been every bit as invincible against our top club sides. A tribute to their strength in depth. A tribute to Mal Reilly for finding a formula to beat them at the highest level. History beckons witness, and Great Britain Mark III in the coming week.
Yes, a busy rugby league week. I wonder how many headers we'll see this afternoon. A disappointing couple of weeks for Brian Smith, though. I'd imagine the Wakefield Championship defeat hurt more, though, than the Australian one.
Did indeed. That's our bread and butter, and we went to Wakefield in the knowledge that if we won the game, we could kick further clear in the league. but we weren't good enough on the day. Wakefield played particularly well, as did the Australians on Wednesday night, playing possibly the best rugby league they've played on the whole tour.
Well, it's tough and tight at the top again. Wigan beginning to find their rhythm, especially against Hull Kingston Rovers on Tuesday, a game you saw, and I know you were very impressed, Brian.
Wigan were on fire early in the game. In fact, they put this game to bed in almost the first 20 minutes. An early intercept there by Joe Lydon, who fed the ball on to Edwards for a runaway try, but Gregory was the one who was at the forefront of this game. The forwards linked, did the business up front, but then it was balls like this. Watch this, what a gem.
Gregory not playing today, Bobby Goulding in, Andy Goodway with that try. John Mooney said it was the best performance since the Challenge Cup final victory, Brian.
It's pretty hard to argue with that. You know, as you can see, they had so much room. OKR were poor here, but Wigan were at their very best. Lots of support play and lots of skill all the way around.
No reaction to the test matches from the likes of Ellery Hanley and Dennis Betts. And Joe Lydon could do with a big game this afternoon to push himself into the forefront of Malcolm Reilly's mind. Yeah,
Lydon must be up there in contention, although I think it'll take a brave man to change the team very much. But as you can see, the Test Stars played particularly well. They were right at the forefront of this game. They did all the damage. Goodway came on as a replacement, swatted people away, but Hanley, as you can see, he was right there again.
Are you surprised they've made such a stuttering start, as it were?
No, I think Wigan have got an enormous pressure to carry all the time, you know, being recognised as one of the best teams in the world. Their players are expected to play well every week, and on top of all their successes within the local competitions, they then have to go into representative honours, and that takes an enormous toll on their team. Had a lot of injuries early in the season, but they were right on song on Tuesday night, and I'd expect a big win from them here today.
Yeah, well, there's so many good players in the Wigan dressing room. It's only winger David Myers who's entitled to field the odd one out. He's the only player in the side today who's not a full international. Now, Wigan's built to stay the championship course, talent everywhere you look, and talent in reserve. Coach John Mooney believes it's talent beginning to knit together again.
Well, I'd like to think that we improve our game every week, but as a coach, you never know. You get one great performance, and then, you know, I'd rather see a great performance every week, but it doesn't happen in this game. And although our form over the last two games has been very good.
There was room for improvement, wasn't there, from the early part of the season?
Yeah, well, I thought we struggled early in the season. We did a lot of heavy weight training, and we didn't do the usual amount of running. So, you know, I think we paid the price for that. It's a running game and you need good endurance, and we did start off a little bit slow.
Are you still looking for further improvement?
There's a lot of improvement. You know, the good rugby league will be played after Christmas, I'd say, and you know, the main objective is not to be too far away from the leaders by the time Christmas comes around.
Are you as optimistic as you were at this stage of last season?
Oh yes, I think we've got a very good side. We've got a lot of outstanding players that can win the big game. So we just got to take care of the bread and butter things, the week by week struggle. That's you know, and that's the hard part. That's where we missed the jump a little bit by losing our couple of games earlier in the year.
You still do it though?
Yeah, I'm very confident.
Confident John Mooney. I spoke to him yesterday. Interestingly, he was saying he didn't feel that Ellery Hanley was maybe quite the same player he was before he had his series of injuries. Phil Lauder, I wonder what you make of that.
Well, Ellery won the man of the match in the first test at Wembley. It was from his break that we scored our first try through Barney Eastwood. He put up the kick that set up Martin Afaia's try, and it might be of interest to note that in that game he made 7 clear busts against the best organised defence in the world, which was more than all the Australian forwards put together. And in the second test, he made 35 tackles and missed only 1. So I'm pretty happy with him.
Phil, he's essentially a private man. How big an influence is he on a side?
Well, obviously he's a tremendous influence on the football pitch, but in training, he speaks very positively. He's got a very clear understanding of the tactics. He's got a lot of respect from all the players, and when he speaks, they all listen to him.
Well, I know Joe Lydon's had a virus. He's been desperate to play. He's told John Mooney he wants to force his way into the test side. Has he a chance of that?
Well, yeah, Joe's a world-class player. He certainly performed well for us in New Zealand. Malcolm and myself, as everybody else was pretty disappointed with our loss in the second test. We feel that Australia are playing well, and perhaps we are going to have to put together a better performance than we did at Old Trafford. And certainly this weekend we are looking at other players, and Joe Lydon's one of them.
I know you're looking at other players. Tell me, Phil, any chance of others like Mike Gregory, Jonathan Davis being involved in the test next week?
Well, all I can say at this stage is that Malcolm's going to watch the Widnes Australia match tomorrow. I'm going up to Hull to watch the Hull Warrington game. We're both here today, and players are in contention, but as Brian said, we've put together two pretty good performances, and we've got the nucleus of the team to beat Australia, so there won't be a lot of changes, if any.
Thanks very much, Phil. Watch this space. I'm sure the Featherstone coach Peter Fox will be keeping a special eye on Joe Lydon and Ellery Hanley. Remember, he brought Ellery Hanley into the game with Bradford Northern. Once again, though, his side are at the wrong end of the First Division table. They've lost their last two, having won 3 straight before that. That's the kind of form they need. Remember, Wigan hammered them here exactly a year ago, 40 points to 14, 8 tries. This one from Andy Goodway.
Edwards and Gregory inside the opponent's 25, which spells trouble. Lucas, oh, beautifully on, and Andy Goodway has a walk-in try.
Peter, you helped give us a great show in this fixture a year ago, but you lost rather too many points.
We did. We lost the points early, and the lads got well behind, and the confidence doesn't get raised then. We're hoping to keep the game tight and get a few points to give us a boost, and if we do that, then it gives you the heart to fight on further.
Are you a better side than you were 12 months ago?
Yes, we're a better side than we were 12 months ago, but it's a gradual procession with us. It's, you know, you can't just build a side and buy all the players you want, not like the big clubs like Wigan, etc., etc. But we've bought 1 or 2 players, and we've got 1 or 2 youngsters coming on, and today we're probably the youngest team, even though Gratian puts the average up a little bit. We've got the youngest team we've ever had at Featherstone.
And you're always prepared to let the ball go wide?
We try to play football. We've got some backs that's willing to run with the ball. It's a question of getting the ball to them, which we're going to try and do today, and see if we can run the Wigan backs a little bit.
Let's see how they go. It's almost time for kick-off. Let's hope Clive Tilsey has as much to shout about as that Australian test commentator we heard before. Clive.
Good day, everybody. This is Wigan's first appearance on Rugby League Live since the Charity Shield, when their casualty list favoured a test lineup. They're nearing full strength again now. Andy Gregory and Ian Lucas were injured in midweek, but their replacements are both test players. Andy Goodway returns to the pack, with Andy Platt moving up to his Great Britain position at prop. And Bobby Goulding wears the number 7 shirt. He'll relish his scrum half battle today with Derek Fox, who went on tour as Britain's first choice in the summer, but Goulding soon displaced him and played in all 5 tests against Papua New Guinea and New Zealand. Fox captains a Featherstone side without last season's teenage sensation Paul Newlove through injury. This season's teenage sensation Martin Pearson gets a place on the wing as a result. Britain tourist Ian Smales steps into the problem standoff half berth. Last week's headed try at St Helens was no problem for referee Jerry Kershaw, who awarded George Mann's score without hesitation. He knows his stuff all right. It's a beautiful sunny afternoon after a dismal morning. An awful lot of rain in the Wigan area up till lunchtime, but suddenly the blue skies and the sunshine have appeared, and the pitch is in perfect condition. There's a light breeze, but one can hardly imagine more ideal playing conditions, certainly for the sort of running football to which Peter Fox is committed and to which Wigan will love to play if they get their noses in front. Wigan then in the prominently red strip. 3 weeks ago, Featherstone were 4th in the table and Wigan 11th. Now Wigan 5th and Featherstone 11th. A couple of good wins, a couple of setbacks. That's all it takes to turn this season's tables completely. Featherstone centre is Terry Manning, who Peter Fox picks out as his outstanding player so far this season. First look at Jeff Creation, the 41-year-old grandfather, who's still plugging away in the Featherstone Rovers front row. Leo Casey, the other prop, formerly of Oldham. Derek Fox to kick. Steve Hansen is the Wigan fullback. John Murdy was telling me this morning that Hansen plays every club match as if it were a test match. He's got a great attitude for the game. And a great break too by David Myers if he can straighten it up. Sean Edwards, taken on by Kelvin Skerritt. Bobby Goulding. First time he'd started a match in the number 7 shirt this season. Joe Lydon looking to put Chris Bibb, his fellow Great Britain tourist, under pressure. Bibb didn't knock the ball forward. And he's broken Edwards' challenge. And suddenly Wigan were undone there.
He's got a great left foot step, Chris Bibb. Wigan will want to improve their kick chase. They had the numbers there. Certainly didn't make the commitment.
Knocked out of the hands by Kevin Iro's challenge, and Miles was quickly onto the ball. Now he was held back there without the ball in his hands. Bibb is able to retrieve the situation. Fox. Here's Butt. Gratian. Ikram Butt again. One of the few Asian players playing professional rugby league. In fact, he and his brother Tony are the only ones that I know of, and it's a good development. Hopefully they'll encourage some of the youngsters in West Yorkshire to follow their example. Joe Lydon just knocking the ball forward. He was very, very doubtful for this match. As Rob was saying, he's had a virus all week, but he's so keen to stake a claim for the Great Britain number 5 shirt. If Martin O'Fire, who's actually amongst the crowd here today, is unable to recover his fitness in time for next Saturday.
Like the way Wigan have started this game, and that incident there involving Lydon was an example of that, the way they at times can be very lackadaisical. They need to get far more into the game and make their dominance felt very early in the game, like they did at Hull KR on Tuesday night.
Gary Rose, who's held. Andy Platt eventually coming to terms with him. Fox. Smales. Nicely on to Casey. And Featherstone started brightly here. Certainly got plenty of players out there capable of making a half break. Chris Burton taking them up to within 10 yards of the Wigan line. Derek Fox. Ian Smales. Nicely on. A chance for Owen Simpson, and he just was unable to smuggle the ball inside before his foot was in touch.
That set of 6 is a typical set by Featherstone. They love to play the ball 2 out, or even just 1 out off Derek Fox, trying to hit on the fringes of the ruck and string passes together. And Wigan didn't have the numbers there, and Featherstone very nearly came up with a try. By gee, that was close, and result of some good passing exchanges.
Ellery Hanley. Andy Platt.
Great tackle, Fox.
Andy Goodway. Wrestled out of his hands by Smales and on by Manning. Here's Pearson. Rose. Gratian distributing the ball well. Here he is again. Oh, he just tried to do a little bit too much there. Peter Fox, who started his coaching career with Featherstone nearly 20 years ago. We'll celebrate that anniversary in January. Dermott looking to make some yards from acting half-back. It's the 5th tackle, though. Joe Lydon just shielding his eyes from the sun as Goulding's pass came back to him. Bouncing between Pearson and Bibb. This is Martin Pearson. Still only 19 years of age, and he's made a real impact in his first season in the professional game. first full season. He actually made his debut here as a 17-year-old a couple of years ago, but it's this year that the young Featherstone right winger has started to establish himself. Here's their young stand-off half, Ian Smales. Fox feeding operation again.
£1 for every time you see that play today. 7 to 8, run around, back to 7 again.
Gary Rose. Again, Featherstone intent on keeping it alive. Chris Burton. Good tackle. Fox. Collected by Lydon. Wigan's 36-6 win over Hull Kingston Rovers in midweek was their biggest in the first division all year. They've scored 13 tries in their last 2 matches. They're just coming to the boil. Only Australia have beaten them here at Central Park this season. Featherstone don't look overawed. Kelvin Skerritt. Andy Platt. It's a measure of his value that he was rushed back into the Great Britain pack just 6 weeks after knee surgery. Edwards. Now Myers has got a chink of daylight. Well dealt with by his opposite number, Owen Simpson. 6th tackle and a handover to Featherstone. Chris Burton. Gratian. Played in every match for Featherstone Rovers last season, Jeff Gratian. He really is a remarkable specimen, the big Featherstone number 8. Chris Bibb in the line. A bit of space from Manning. Skerritt making the tackle wide out. Smales. Good break by Ian Smales. Now he's got support to his left. He's kicked ahead. It's a straight run between Smales and Edwards, and Smales has won the chase. And Featherstone Rovers take a shot lead. Ian Smales, who much prefers to play in the Featherstone pack, pressed into their problem position at standoff half, and coming up with a try that Gary Schofield would have been proud of. Derek Fox finding Smales, and that little jig made the break, but the kick was beautifully judged. It was the knee. Well, we're seeing everything this week in rugby league. Bit of head, bit of knee, both successful.
Seen it all. Rugby league comes up with something different in every game. That was the result of some good attacking play by Featherstone. When they get in this groove where they're moving the ball about, they're really dangerous. But we're going to want to forget about Tuesday night.
Martin Pearson unable to improve Ian Smales' try. Featherstone leading by 4 points to 0. But I would think, Brian, that Wigan have made as many errors in 11 minutes of football than they made in 80 on Tuesday.
Exactly, and they just don't seem to have that intensity about their game today. They're not numbering up well in defence. We're seeing at times here that right now they've got 4 here on the short side, marking up on just 2 Featherstone players. And eventually, if you move the ball about, you just got to find holes against that sort of undisciplined defence or non-thinking defence.
So 4 points to 0, Featherstone Rovers lead. They have the ball back. Fox's kick. This is David Myers. He's got away from time. Derek Fox, dependable, blocking his path. Now, if Miles wasn't being held down then, well, he wasn't. In the opinion of the referee or touch judge, who had a very good view of it. Edwards, Hanley. Myers is certainly hungry for action. That's the 5th tackle. Edwards. Well gathered by Pearson. Well, slipped out of his hands as the tackle came in, but Chris Bibb was able to retrieve it. Strong running again by Terry Manning. There's that Gratian run-around move again, this time Chris Burton, the recipient. 5 tackles. Fox making some space for himself. Planting that beyond Kevin Iro. Now wants this boy to run it back strongly. You need danger money to tackle him. That's the place to get him downstairs. Trevor Clark. Joe Lydon. Desperation penalised, holding down Lydon, preventing him from playing the ball quickly. Steve Hampson with the touch-finding kick. Skerrin. Andy Platt. Edwards. Goulding. Quite collected on the burst by Andy Goodway. That's a well-rehearsed and very familiar Wigan ploy. Not as crisply executed as we are used to seeing them, certainly when they're at their best. Goodway was scoring tries for fun off that move last year. Owen Simpson trying his luck down the short side. We've had 15 minutes play. And Featherstone in possession, lead by 4 points to 0. Here's the score of their try, Ian Smales. Chris Bibb in the line. To Mike forward, and then it was. Big Leo Casey was very highly thought of at Oldham. But there was a disagreement over his contract during the summer. I'm sure Tony Barrow didn't want to lose him. £100,000, a club record fee paid by Featherstone for his services. Sean Edwards. Steve Hampson. Andy Platt. Dean Bell, who's been a real inspiration for Wigan so far this season. Nobody's played better for them. Dennis Betts spilling the ball. Casey again, and once more a very dangerous pass. Featherstone are one of those sides who are an absolute delight to watch, but I'm not sure I'd really want to be a Featherstone supporter. I would think it's a bit difficult on the heart. The heart spends more time in your mouth than it does in its proper position. But it makes for a very entertaining game. And certainly Featherstone have carried the game to Wigan and have made early inroads without Ian Smales' try. Dean Bell.
Those errors are what's leading to the domination of possession by Featherstone. And there's another one of them there that's going to mean that Featherstone get more of that possession. It's playing into Featherstone's hands, this, by Wigan. Not only are they making errors in attack, but their defence just hasn't got the go forwards in it at all. They're standing back and waiting, and it's a recipe for disaster. They'll get themselves in a hole there if they're not careful.
We've had 18 minutes now. Featherstone leading by 4 points to 0. Foraging forward again with their skipper Derek Fox. Leo Casey. Andy Fisher. He's a big, rangy, strong running back row forward, Fisher. Well dealt with by Hampson, but he ran through 2 tackles to get that far. Here's Fox again. Oh, and he's almost found a way through. Ikram Butt, Trevor Clark, just short of the line. It really is a testing period for Wigan. But again, just couldn't quite hang on. Wigan have the ball back. I don't think they've been more grateful for possession to be handed to them at any stage of this season. They really are on the rack a bit at the moment.
Still, you get the feeling, Clive, that if they just knuckle down and do the things they do well and do them often enough, they can just blast their way out of it.
It's a big word, if, though, in sporting terms.
I'll have a pound with you if you want it.
5th tackle. Hampson. Chris Bibb. Very pacey fullback as well as being very mobile. Jeff Grayson smartly picking it up. Long way down for Big Jeff, that at 41. There's Will Casey. Midway through the first half. Not been an error-free game by any means, but here at Central Park, Rugby League Live has got a shock in the making, with Featherstone Rovers leading Wigan by 4 points to 0. Doesn't say as much when they're in front. Doesn't have to. Edwards. Just waiting for Edwards and Hanley to make a real impact on the game. There they are together. Martin Dermott. Andy Platt. Dermott. Goulding. Edwards. He's a little bit short of support there. Goodway was a long way from him. Dean Bell. Dennis Betts. It's a bit more encouraging, this, for Wigan. Goulding. Bell. Goulding. Hanley. Hampson in the line. 5th tackle. Edwards. Skerritt. Well smothered by Featherstone, who now get the ball back on the handover. Just as Wigan have won 2 out of 2 in November, so Featherstone have lost 2 out of 2 this month. They needed an almighty effort to beat the drop during the second half of last season. They've got the Leaders' Hull to come next weekend. If you like, they're starting their relegation fight a little bit earlier this season. Very competitive first division. A couple of good results can certainly catapult you back up into the top 6. Smales. Derek Fox. Myers. Simpson watched him all the way. And some help from Ikram Butt. Iro. Kelvin Skerritt. Dermot. Haven't been many easy yards against this Featherstone defence so far, but Dermot has sprung the trap there, and Hanley has now found Iro. Edwards. Bell. There's a little bit of a shamozzle off the ball. Play continuing. Dean Bell unable to make anything of it. It was Ellery Hanley and Andy Fisher who wanted to play out a little contest of their own. And the touch gesture smartly in, and play was able to continue. Pretty soon they lost interest in each other. Chris Burton, a mere fledgling at 34 compared to Jeff Gratian. But after those two, the oldest man in the Featherstone side is Trevor Clark, the hooker, at 28. It's a very youthful team. They've got to come up with something here on a 6th tackle play. Derek Fox. Hampson. Right down the side of him. Good tackle by Manning. Andy Goodway.
We can hold the ball and put a good set of 6 together here. I'm predicting a try, Clive. I think Featherstone is starting to look shaky.
Hanley. Skerritt. Edwards. Betts. Goulding. Platt. 5 tackles. Edwards with a kick. Right down the throat of Owen Simpson. Got any horses you'd like to tip this afternoon, Brian?
I'm still sticking to it. I think they're going to get back here, Clive, shortly. I think Featherstone are just starting to struggle a little bit, but Fox's kicking game is getting them that ground that they need. They're not going as well as forward with the ball as well as they were early in the game. But maybe Fox can just keep them there till half-time on the back of a good kicking game.
Fisher spinning the ball, and Wigan now have a little bit of a present possession inside the Featherstone half. Visitors didn't keep it long enough for Fox to kick Wigan back down the field that time. Dean Bell. Dermot. Betts. Edwards was in support. Betts trying to go it alone. Set it. Good position here, Dennis Betts. Martin Dermot. Bobby Goulding. Might dig his way through. He's certainly through to within 2 yards of the line, but that's the 5th tackle. Edwards. Hanley. Featherstone a little bit stretched. Hanley's little kick. Simpson kicked it dead. And the Rovers line survives again.
Scrambled well in defence there, although starting to go backwards a little more. Wigan showing some domination, but it's largely because they're holding the ball much better now, playing out a set of 6. Here's another set.
Ellery Hanley's little kick through.
Oh, crazy with the kick lately, Ellery. Had a bit of success in the test. It's added a whole new dimension to his game.
Because Simpson kicked the ball dead, Featherstone must drop the ball out from beneath her own post and automatically give Hanley possession back. I think he had his mind on kicking it that time. Andy Platt. Goulding. Well, the ball's come free. But Featherstone have been penalised for ripping the ball out of Bobby Goulding's hands, and Wigan have a penalty. Now, will they go for the 2 points, which are virtually a gimme, or will they try to make the most of the pressure gain? Surely they'll go for the kick. Yes, and Bobby Goulding's making the mark, and Wigan will settle for 2.
I don't think I would have, Clive. I think I would have kept the pressure on.
Touch judge, Roy Carter in. There's some words of wisdom for Jerry Kershaw to take in, but nothing that's going to lead to any disciplinary action. Goulding taking the close-in kicking responsibilities. I fancy we might see Joe Lydon from further out. Oh, he's missed it. And that is a wasted opportunity, and all that Wigan pressure comes to naught. And they've got to pick themselves up and dust themselves down and start all over again, because they trail by 4 points to 0. Ian Smale's try after just 9 minutes. Although Wigan have forced Featherstone back after that bright start by the Yorkshiremen. They have nothing to show for their improvement. Andy Platt. Another kick by Dermot. Oh, it's bounced kindly for him too. Sean Edwards with a real chance. And here's the first Wigan try. To Edwards the glory, but to Martin Dermot the credit. And that'll come as a major relief to Wigan. They're level.
Brilliant try here on the back of some really good, skillful play. Dermot getting away from the marker. Brendan Tuta, the replacement, went to sleep. What a bounce, and great hands, and Edwards showed what a great supporting player he is, and how quick he is. Had a stumble, but still had plenty of time to get there. That was a really skillful try. Brilliant piece of play by Martin Dermot against the run of play. Not the usual thing from a hooker, but still done with such skill that has brought 6 points, maybe.
Goulding's missed it again. Wigan haven't taken full advantage, but they've managed to haul Featherstone back in by virtue of Sean Edwards' 9th try of the season.
That's a lovely fend from Sean Edwards, right into Chris Bibb's shoulder to push him away. Classic piece of evasion.
So his try has levelled it up. Score with 31 minutes of the first half gone is Wigan 4, Featherstone Rovers 4. So a ravaging run by Calvin Skerritt. He was just carrying 2 with him then. He had a couple of passengers on board, but they weren't slowing him down. Less than 9 minutes of the first half remaining. Now, can Wigan use that as a fillip for more? Kevin Iro.
Look out.
There's a good tackle low down there by Gary Rose, but Brendan Tutar, the substitute, who's only just come onto the field, rather stupidly went high. Not exactly out of character for him, and Wigan have been penalised. Wigan have been given an opportunity.
I think it's Chris Burton here.
I tell a lie, yes, it is Burton. Tutar was innocent that time.
It's been known to happen to Chris before as well. Gee, Bobby Goulding's got some confidence. Missing 2 fairly simple shots. Now he's going to have a shot from halfway.
That was so unnecessary, though, because the tackle had been made low down.
Absolutely, Clive. Absolutely.
But Wigan are certainly carrying the ball up with far more purpose and power now. Game has found another gear of commitment, and it's starting to be reflected on the scoreboard. It'll be even more clearly reflected if Goulding can find his range. Not yet. 3-0, Bobby Goulding. 4-4 is the score. Good break by Derek Fox. Held down that time by Goulding.
There you can see actually shooting our theory down, but I think some of Wigan's errors have been displayed in other ways. Featherstone's handling errors 7 at this stage, far too many.
There's the risky run when you handle the ball as excitingly as they like to. They play a different percentage game altogether, Featherstone. And they hope that those handling errors are evened up by the number of breaks that they make. It's well recovered by Martin Pearson.
Fine in theory, that it just doesn't work out in practicalities, Clive. I'm afraid that theory is well outdated. You just can't play that sort of way anymore and expect to be at the top of the league or even to win on a regular basis. You just have to play the percentages and learn to play the passing game at the appropriate time. There's nothing entertaining about getting beat regularly.
Dialogue between coaches and referees over scrummaging in the last week or so. Kevin Iro. Oh, he's so exciting when he gets some open field. And Lydon has hung on. And Lydon goes clear. And Wigan go in front. Joe Lydon score, but the awesome power of Kevin Iro made it possible. He stakes his claim for a place in Mal Reilly's plans for next week, but I wonder what Mal and Phil Larder would do if they had Kevin Iro available to them.
Wonderful set piece this. Iro coming from the other side of the scrum. Poor attempt at a tackle by Smales. You just have to go in harder than that. Look at the strength. Pushes himself through a good tackle from Bibb. Lydon spare because Pearson had to come to help, such as the power of Iro. Left him free, and he certainly had all the necessary speed to get there for a really good try. We're going to run a roll now.
Joe Lydon's 5th of the season. Bobby Goulding wide of the mark again. That was his most difficult attempt, but really Wigan's 8 points to 4 lead now barely does justice to the pressure on which they're putting on Featherstone.
This is just not fair that this man can be so big, so fast, and have such evasive skill. There's a fend. See, Pearson's had to come to make that, or try to make that tackle. He hasn't done it particularly well, but he's not the first man to have tried and failed. That's a great try.
Wigan back in possession with their try scorer, Joe Lydon. 8 points to 4 is the advantage he's given his team. Took Wigan half an hour to break Featherstone down, but now they are threatening to take the next step in this game and go clear. I don't think the half-time whistle will be an altogether unpleasant sound for Peter Fox at the moment. I think he'd like to get these next 3 minutes over with and get his team back in the dressing room and try and motivate them to the level that they found in the opening 20 minutes of the game. David Marge is getting a bit too excited then. Telling everybody else to calm down. Not for the want of trying though, was it? Smales. Hampson was up in the line then.
No one else in the Featherstone team knew that Smales was going to kick the ball.
Myers. Keeping Mark Preston out of the Wigan side at the moment. Scary, looks as if he's getting stronger and stronger as this match goes on. A loose one from Edwards, but well gathered by Betts.
Great defence from Manning. That shut down a 3-on-2 here really well. Very determined piece of defensive play, well read.
Dermott's busy around the ruck at the moment, Brian. He's doing some good things for Wigan.
He's a skillful player there. He gives them a lot of options.
6th tackle and Hampson kicking. Chris Bibb came to meet it, then found himself having to backpedal. That's a good chase, and at the moment Featherstone are finding it a little bit difficult to get back behind the ball. One or two of their forwards looking rather tired. Chris Burton, that's what tiredness sometimes breeds, lack of concentration. Hampson. Wigan can prize another try out of this last minute. It might be the key score of the match. Featherstone on the ropes at the moment. Hanley to Edwards. Skerritt. Edwards was there again, good support. Flattened off the ball, actually. Goulding. Hanley. Platt. 5th tackle. Big play, this. Edwards. Not the best of kicks. Bibb able to recover it. And Featherstone will just want to hang on now for 5 tackles and hear that hooter. Be a sweet sound for the visitors who started so positively this afternoon with a try by Ian Smales after 9 minutes. But Wigan, who took some time to find themselves in the match, eventually wore them down. Tries from Shaun Edwards and Joe Lydon in the closing 10 minutes of the first half. But for some rather wayward kicking by Bobby Goulding, Wigan would have more than their 8 points to 4 half-time advantage. We'll be back in a moment.